I have to tell you this. So, when I told my son that I'm nominated, and we went out for a dinner, all four of us, and I was, expecting them to they would touch my feet and all that. Kuch aisa nahi hua. And my son says that, Mom, you should start practicing. So I thought he's telling me start practicing the speech. He says you should start practicing the graceful loser face. It was like, मतलब कितना नालायक बच्चा है seriously इसके लिए खा पी के बड़ा किया था.
I'm going to stand up that night.
I was just thinking he'll make everybody laugh, he'll be damn cool.
No, not on stage. I'm saying later on that night. See, the lovely thing about my profession is accolades make zero difference. Right. I could win an Oscar and come and stand at NCPA and 30 seconds later, Oscar Jeeta, very well done. Hasa.
Amit ji calls me Malkin.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason is, so people, I'm doing Waqt, the film with Amit ji, me, and Akshay and whatever, where I've put a stamp on myself and said I am old. Period. Story over. That is the end of it. Anyway, so I was standing with Vipul. We're going to start shoot. Morning I've come and I said, this is not looking nice. I think you should change this also. What is that thing, that artifact you've put? This is not nice. Wo bhi change kar do. I don't realize this really tall, imposing human is standing behind me.
Yeah.
I'm saying, ye badal do, ye bhi badal do. So he says, director chalega ya wo bhi badal de?
Hello and welcome to News 18 Showsha. Today we have with us two Emmy nominees, Shefali Shah and Veer Das.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Very well.
Okay. Before we start talking about the Emmys, is it true that you both have a connection? You debut in Shefali ma'am's...
Someone has done his research, well done, for research.
Yeah.
Right? So, ma'am also didn't know. I told her,
even I didn't
her
know.
today.
Yeah.
I was in Vipul sir's movie Namaste
London, yeah.
I was prospective groom number 3. And that's
and Wikipedia says it's prospective groom number 2.
2, sorry.
Achha.
But it's the first time that I'd ever faced a film camera.
Okay.
And pretty spoilt to face your first film camera with Rishi Kapoor and Katrina Kaif and Nadia Singh. So yeah, it's my first ever scene. I was the guy who was like, "Kuch chini kitna lete hain?" That was kind of the basis of the scene.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. But is there like a mutual admiration out here? I mean, have you?
I imagine we admire her husband at different levels, like her slightly more than me.
Yeah.
No, I don't admire.
No, not at all.
Of course. I mean, there is... I think we both like each other and all that. At least we're pretending to like each other.
I'm going as fan to cheer for when she wins. That is my main mission.
And I'm convinced he's going to win.
You're convinced he's going to win. And what do you have to tell about her conviction? I mean, because you've been there. I mean, you can probably just guide her.
Yeah, he's told me, और कुछ नहीं तो salad बहुत अच्छा है.
Salad bowl.
अच्छा, हाँ.
Yeah.
जो आपने last time you put it out and then it became like a big controversy out there also.
The salad was not controversial at all. But, I don't know, I just think she's created an immortal character and I think those deserve to be rewarded. So
Right.
I think she's bringing it home.
Right. Well, have you seen Landing and have you seen Delhi Crime and
I've
what's your
definitely seen
take
Delhi
about
Crime.
each other?
I have, but not too much. And I haven't seen him live. I want to see you live. That would be damn
But you don't get the tickets. I mean, tickets ही नहीं मिलती
No,
है.
but I can request him. You leave me now one.
VIP quota hai.
Please include my name also, please.
They're not that tough to get here. You just have to, the time that I announced, then you have to just click on that time. If you wait like 6-7 minutes, then they're
it's
gone.
gone.
Right.
6-7 minutes is gone.
It's gone.
Damn cool.
So you can imagine.
Shut up. We both do.
Yeah. But tell us, this year we have both of you all. Apart from that, we have Jim Saab,
yes, yeah.
and we have Ekta Kapoor also being given. A
She's
award.
definitely winning.
She's definitely
she's definitely winning.
Yeah.
But do you feel? I mean, the kind of representation that we had at the Oscars also this year, and we won. Is this like a watershed moment for India? Do you feel so?
I don't know whether it reflects in entertainment or not. I think in general India is a watershed moment. I think we're on the precipice of massive things historically by virtue of the fact that we're one of the youngest populations on the planet, or perhaps the youngest working population on the planet. So we just have a level of skill and youth that's undeniable at a world level. So if these things are small cherries on top or byproducts of that, I'd love to credit that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
like that.
I agree with him. I totally agree with him. And even on an international level, like the Emmys, I think the watershed moment has started quite some time ago. And it's only going to grow from here. I mean,
Right.
I proudly say that Delhi Crime won the Emmy.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be pompous, but I think it's the best show that's come out of India. And not just Delhi Crime, but so many shows on Netflix. I mean, they're global shows.
Yeah.
They are with our roots, but they've got wings enough to fly across the globe, which is brilliant. And it's only going to grow. It's just the beginning.
Right.
And I also think, we've transcended over a little bit from being perceived as these purveyors of escapist fiction to now telling really authentic, grounded
Yeah.
stories. Platforms like this and all the other platforms have a big role to play in that. And not to knock escapist fiction either. Because really the only American cinema that is working is escapist fiction. In the Marvel universe, etc.,
Agreed.
etc.
Yeah.
But I think, I always say, like, Marvel is their Bollywood. You know what I mean? It's their great costumes, outrageous these things, etc., etc., etc. But for us to tell authentic, real Indian stories that are consumable at a global level, I think that's a great moment to be a part of, or to experience.
Right. Also, do you feel that the kind of perception that the global audience or the global filmmakers have about India is also changing? I mean, there were bits and pieces of roles, or like, if you say so, that there was like a kind of a tokenism which was offered. Also, it was rolled just because you wanted to cast an Asian, you would probably select an Indian actor. Apart from probably an Irfan or Priyanka Chopra, we've mostly seen actors doing special appearances or extended cameos. Do you think that is also kind of changing?
I think earlier there were Indian actors because that was a unique, addition to a film. I don't think it's unique anymore. It's become more inclusive.
Sure.
But it's just about begun.
Yeah.
There's just Irfan and there is just PC.
Yeah.
There's a long way to go. And there is such immense talent.
Yeah.
In our country. Such amazing talent. So I think there's a long way to go where it actually becomes inclusive, completely inclusive. And in fact, this nomination is a step towards that.
Right.
I think diversity looks like a street. I don't think it looks like a building. And that's what I've said before. I don't think it's a building where a particular type of person goes. If a film can look like a street in New York or a street in London with that many Indian people and that many Latin American people and that many Eastern European people, that's really what diversity looks like.
Yeah.
In terms of tokenism, I don't give it too much thought. I also think on the flip side, we're the largest film industry in the world. Think about the roles that we offer foreigners sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think it goes both ways in that sense.
Right. Veer, I'd like to continue with it. We've had a lot of comedians of Indian origin,
Yes.
be it Sanjeev Bhatia or Hassan Minhaj,
Russell
Peters.
Yeah.
But they have their own take. I mean, it's like American Indian comedy.
Yes, yeah.
Or
It's a
probably
palatable
British
version of their culture.
Yeah, it's a palatable. Do you feel with the success of the landing and this Emmy nomination, you are creating a lineage of Indian who's representing Indian comedy on a global level?
Unapologetically, I will say I think there's a massive vacancy for an authentic global Indian comedy voice out of India. And I'm trying to fill that vacancy.
Right.
That is my intention.
Right.
You learn that after having seen a little bit of the world. Like I remember, the first Netflix special that came out was a bit of a humbling experience because for the first time you're suddenly getting emails from China, you're getting emails from, Puerto Rico, you're getting emails from Norway, and you kind of realize, I could have served so many people something.
Yeah.
Now it takes you a while to figure out what that something is. If you panic, you will think that something is something that is very easy to understand.
Yeah.
But then when you travel the world a little bit and you see them say, no, take me somewhere I've never been before. That's what I always say. A Netflix special like Dave Chappelle, he talks about Ohio and his farm. I've never been to Ohio, but I'll still go on that journey with him, on that mental journey.
Yeah.
Why can't I take you back to Noida?
Yeah.
If you're from Ohio, or if you're from Russia. There is a room for a person to tell people in Norway about Dedhia mode. And I'm that guy. I want to be that guy.
Right. Can you point out the reason why there is so much of void or vacancy, like you mentioned, in this scene? Why don't we see more comedians, on a global stage, or probably just coming out?
Well, I mean, touchwood, the Indian comedy market is a very good place. It's a very secure place. That takes work, and it takes travel, and it takes absence, and there's an opportunity cost to that.
Yeah.
I do think I benefited from the fact that stand-up comedians I always say this, are either the coolest person in the room or the uncoolest person in the room. Ironically, in my school, it has produced two comedians. One of them was head boy, and he was the coolest guy in this thing, and I was just kind of the loser in the corner. But because I grew up in Africa and India, elsewhere, so I've kind of felt like an outsider a little bit. But feeling like an outsider gives you the ability to ingest a culture in preparing it for another culture a little bit, which is what I have to do sometimes.
Right.
So having never fully fit in anywhere, I feel like I can take a culture more globally.
Right. Ma'am, does the Emmy also allow you, the Emmy nomination also allow you to spread your wings internationally, or is it already happening?
Well, there have been conversations, but I'm really hoping that this does bring a spotlight to Indian talent, to say so. Okay, let's just talk about me. It brings spotlight to me and I get work. I mean, like,
Hell yeah.
seriously, I would love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Who is this other talent?
I know lots of other talent, but very nice, all the best. But मुझे तो मिल जाए, फिर बाकी सब का, then I can pray for them.
No, I'll tell you why I'm asking this is because, you've always credited Delhi crime as a turning point in your career. I was speaking to Vipul sir, and he said that, he was mentioning that, you were not getting offers, the kind of roles that you of your caliber. Was there ever a conversation between you all where you could just go up to him and say, okay, just make something for me or just write something? Did that ever happen?
I think we have far more self-respect than that.
Okay.
And we respect each other a lot. So he will not cast me, or he won't even offer me something that is under, he wouldn't want to undermine my talent.
Right.
And vice versa. I would never ask him to create a project for me. Also, I don't know if I can explain this, but when Vipul makes a film, it affects the entire family. And I don't sell on the box office. So I'd rather he just does what works for him and for the entire family. So we've never asked each other to, do something because we're married to each other.
But I think that the times are changing, right? Now, there's no, would you agree? I mean, if we have a, if we,
you will do it.
Yeah. I mean, if we have you the lead, it might just sell at the box office.
You should tell him that. Yeah. You must tell him that.
Great.
And he'll be so lucky if he has me as a lead. What to do?
Will he be able to direct you and you take notes and all of that stuff?
I'll help him.
You'll help him?
Yeah. I've taught him well, so I assume.
Just a director petrified behind the camera saying, yaar,
so I have to tell you this. I have to. So Amit ji calls me Malkin.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason is, so people, I'm doing Waqt, the film with Amit ji, me, and Akshay and whatever, where I've put a stamp on myself and said, I am old, period. Story over. That is the end of it. Anyway, so I was standing with Vipul. We're going to start shoot. Morning, I've come and I said, this is not looking nice. I think you should change this also. What is that thing, that artifact you've put? This is not nice. Wo bhi change kar do. I don't realize this really tall, imposing human is standing behind me.
Yeah.
I'm saying, ye badal do, ye bhi badal do. So he says, director chalega ya wo bhi badal de? So from there, he calls me Malkin because he said, that's where I realized, okay, who's the boss? Who bullies?
I need to redeem myself with Amit ji. I've only met him for 10 seconds and I messed it up so badly.
Really?
I had hosted something at Filmfare and nothing can prepare you for meeting
Yeah,
Mr. Amitabh
completely.
Bachchan,
Even
right?
today.
Right, and so I turned around and he was standing there and he said, you're quite funny on stage, right? And I just went, yes. And then he was ushered off to something and I just sat for 2 hours after that. I'm like, if that's the only time in your life you get to meet Amitabh Bachchan, all that will come out of your mouth was,
sir.
yeah,
Yes.
I just said, yes, that's it. So I'm hoping
No, I'm sure.
One day in my life, I get to meet him again and just
Have a
say,
normal,
say something more than yes. Yeah.
than yes. Yeah, but he's very. And the highlight is he's not intimidating.
Yeah. I mean, that's
he
what
treats you as an equal. But it's just like I'm awestruck. Even till date, when I meet him, I'm like that.
Talking about intimidating, a lot of people feel you are also intimidating.
Yeah.
And why does that? Where does that come from?
Probably they saw my fangs. I don't know. I mean, there's just, I think because of the kind of roles I've played, so they assume that I'm very serious and, like you don't mess with her, you just talk to her. I've heard these stories actually, where directors have told me after 2-3 days into the shoot that we had a meeting with all the ADs. Do not talk to her unless she asks a question. Stay away from her. Just काम के जितना काम करो तुम लोग जो बोलना है मुझे बोलो मैं बोलूं like actually like that they've had meetings with their ADs and they're terrified and after 1 hour of meeting me they know कि अच्छा this is all मतलब there is
it's all a farce.
It's like
because I remember talking to you when you had got COVID and you were in your room with your dog having popcorn or something
kurmura I was eating
kurmura And I was like, वहाँ पे देखते तो कुछ इमेज अलग होता है, यहाँ पे कुछ अलग है, मतलब बात करने में it was like complete change. And you
COVID did that to a lot of people.
did it do that to you also?
Totally changed. But no, they have an image of me. They can't imagine me being funny or faffing or being goofy. That's... Yeah.
Meryl Streep doesn't know what it's like to be on set with Meryl Streep. That's what I said to her the other day. So I wish she could experience what it's like to be in the room with one of the most credible actors that's there.
Oh my God, so sweet.
Coming back to you, Veer, when you are on the stage, I mean, we've seen most of your originals. Like, in Landings, the algebra chapter was something that was really amazing. At the same time, back out here in India, there are times when you have to face a lot of flack.
Yeah.
How do you see this dichotomy when you're representing India on a global level, but back home, there is always something. Do you always feel that whenever I say something, there would be something might just be picked up and people will start commenting?
No, I think what is going into your ear? Like, please understand what's going into my ear. It's laughter.
Right.
At the end of the day, like there's a blessing going into my ear. Now, as long as there has been comedy, there have been people who have thought comedy should be something else.
Right.
And that's par for the course, So, when I first came down to Mumbai, stand-up comedy was a very South Bombay, very posh thing. And suddenly there was this kid who was talking about his sex life or college, etc., etc. And then there were people like, this is not comedy, right? And then at some point, stand-up comedy became this very anglicized thing.
Yeah.
And then Great Indian Laughter Challenge showed up. And people were like, but this is not stand-up comedy. And then Great Indian Laughter Challenge showed up. And they started doing very clean family comedy. And then suddenly this new wave of YouTube comedians came out who were doing Hindi, but very edgy and very vulgar.
Yeah.
And they were like, but this is not comedy. Now suddenly you could never make fun of Bollywood and politics and all of that stuff. Then a roast happens.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, this is not comedy. And then after that, you're not supposed to do personal, vulnerable material, but a landing comes out and they're like, this is not comedy. That is the nature of what we do. Is we take the status quo and we shake it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so you have to understand when you're signing up for this job, you are shaking up the status quo and that will come with feedback. And if you're humble about that feedback and you can learn from it, you'll be better served for it. But if you listen to laughter, you won't hear chatter.
Right.
Got
it. Lastly, have you all prepared any speeches for the Emmys?
No. But I have to tell you this. So when I told my son that I'm nominated, and we went out for a dinner, all 4 of us, and I was, expecting them to they would touch my feet and all that. Kuch aisa nahi hua. And my son says that, Mom, you should start practicing. So I thought he's telling me, start practicing the speech. He says, you should start practicing the graceful loser face. It's like, मतलब कितना नालायक बच्चा है. Seriously, इसके लिए खा पी के बड़ा किया था. But no, I haven't.
Yeah. Veer?
I'm going to do stand up that night.
I was just thinking he'll make everybody laugh, he'll be damn cool.
No, not on stage. I'm saying later on that night. See, the lovely thing about my profession is accolades make zero difference.
Right.
I could win an Oscar and come and stand at NCPA and 30 seconds later, Oscar Jeeta, very well done. Hasa. You know, it makes zero difference.
Right.
So I want to grow as an artist, and so to keep myself grounded, at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm setting up a comedy show in New York. Win or lose, I will get on stage and I will make people laugh, and it'll keep me at even keel.
Right. There's your ticket for a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right after the Emmys, you are going to be at the show.
You know?
Yeah.
Veer, me and the salad.
And the salad.
Yeah.
And Jim, we should invite Jim.
And Jim also, yeah.
Don't forget Ekta. I mean, you can just...
Yeah. And Vipul also, he's also there.
Listen, we have all the ingredients to make a movie in New York.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, we
completely.
have everything we need.
Yeah, everything you already.
Netflix you'll produce, done, cool beans.
Great. So the next chapter in Namaste London, and then we can just
Namaste
continue.
New York.
Namaste New
Namaste
York.
New
Oh, like
York.
a franchise
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
a this thing. Eventually, part 16 will be like Namaste Noida, Namaste Gorakhpur, Namaste Lonavala.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting
Thank
to
you.
And looking forward for the Emmys coming back home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shefali Shah.
I'm Veer Das.
And you're watching us on News 18 Showsha.
Showsha, yes.